Minister Nongthorn Biren laid people in paying homage to Assam's rifle soldiers' martyrs and militant ambush at the Kanel village in Kanel district. A 38-year-old COVID-19 positive man from Lilong, Kuno died at Jennings this morning. COVID-19 death toll rises to 5 in Manipur. Forty different civil society organizations of Manipur come together as the People Task Force for COVID-19 to fight coronavirus pandemic. And India reports biggest single-day spike of 55,078 new COVID-19 cases in last 24 hours. Death toll reaches 35,747. A very good evening to you all. I'm Kanel Shambanduram presenting you the Prime Times English News. Now let's begin our bulletin with the top stories of today. Chief Minister Nongthorn Biren has laid the people in paying homage to the 3 Assam Rifles personnel who were martyred in a recent militant ambush at the Kanel village in Kanel district. State government held a wreath-laying ceremony in honor of the martyred soldier at Veer Tikendrajit International Airport today. Speaking on the sideline, Chief Minister Nongthorn Biren said there is no place for violence in a democratic country like India. He condemned the incident and asserted that the government will not remain as a silent spectator and the perpetrators will be definitely hunted down. The Chief Minister also appealed to armed groups to shun hostilities and come out for a political solution, stating that the state government will provide suitable assistance to the families of the martyred Central Forces personnel belonging to Manipur. Chief Minister Nongthorn Biren said that the matter will be put up in the state cabinet for discussion. Kurai MLA L. Shushindro, DGP LM Kaute, other high-ranking civil, military and police officers and family members of late Assam Rifle Jawan Ratan Salams attended the ceremony. Chief Minister Nongthorn Biren also met with the bereaved family members of late Jawan Ratan Salams and offers his condolences.
I want also appeal to them to leave the hostilities, to leave the weapons and come out for a political solution. India is not like before. India is now a superpower. I am not threatening them. We will definitely retaliate. Koi state sigi lai ki tribasi agi mayam bamasu ukhul de election ki satpada ka halak pada ambush lai ki de bani hai. The magi ni hori bangang masani sine repeat ne film se koi game no aite to ai masi terrorist related insurgency related matters in the shiba popo or posi state government amagi dam to so scheme mama lai bini adugi scheme gi ba khada amuk nang kebne na khanaraga he na magi family sing di mateng pangna bari rehabilitate to na ba ke do ge have the cabinet meeting na thoga. Definitely we will help the families of the victims.
Responding to a query regarding casualties of COVID-19 patients in Manipur, the Chief Minister said that all patients who have died so far had pre-existing ailments. As such, it was hard to save their lives. He assured that the government is trying its best to save every single life from COVID-19.
Those people are really suffering in a prolonged illness like kidney failure, heart disease and diabetes like that. In the meantime, infection of the COVID also taken place. Mixing this all, the unfortunate death of 4 persons has taken place. Government is trying our best to prevent that, so precautionary measure has taken up.
Manipur today reported its 5th COVID-19 death. A 38-year-old man from Lilong, Kuno, who had tested positive for COVID-19 died at Jennings around 3 a.m. today. The patient was referred to Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences, Imphal, from the COVID Care Centre, Thoubal, after his condition became critical. He was admitted to Jennings with complaints of breathlessness, fever and diarrhea around 11 p.m. of July 29th. He is the second COVID-19 patient who had died at Jennings. As of Thursday evening, total confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Manipur reached 2,505, out of which 829 are active cases. Forty different civil society organizations of Manipur have come together and formed People's Task Force for COVID-19 to fight against coronavirus pandemic. Convener of the task force, B.K. Moirangcha, said that the task force will spread awareness on safety measures and protocols to ward off coronavirus. Sarat Chandra Thiam and Bimold Suraisam Sanjeet and Moirangthem Angamba are co-convener, treasurer, spokesperson, organization and media in charge of task force respectively. One lawyer of a coronavirus infected accused in a drug case has tested COVID-19 positive. Impact News sources said that the man who was accused in a drug case was produced before judge of the NDPS court in Lumfeld yesterday. He was detected positive only after he came out of the court. Upon getting information that the accused has tested positive, all the staff of NDPS kept themselves quarantined at the court. Registrar General of the High Court of Manipur then wrote to the Health Directorate to conduct COVID-19 test upon all the lawyers. Secretary of Lay Inkol Kuchem Laimarol Apunba Laikol Likla K. Yumsangbi has appealed to the government to make special arrangements for the disposal of the bodies infected with coronavirus. She appealed to the government to keep a separate graveyard or crematorium for performing the last rites of those who succumbed to COVID-19. She expressed apprehension of a possible spread of coronavirus from coronavirus-infected dead bodies. She said that the COVID-19 positive man from the Langold who died at RIMS on the 30th of July has been buried at Lay Inkol Chingmairong Cemetery. Yumshangbi claimed that PPE kits, face masks and gloves worn by those who came to bury the body have been found nearby the cemetery, much to the horror of the local residents. She appealed to those concerned not to bury those who died from COVID-19 at the cemetery anymore.
Layingongi simitida COVID-19 na naba naraga siba pumambase ase kumandigano akoi lekai anakpada kumbi na akoi kijaba po aduna matungdasu kumdanaba mafam ataida daga mi leitaba mafamda kumbinaba sarkarna mutang miyeng tabiyo.
Manipur State AIDS Control Society has informed that RIMS Hospital's ART Center has been temporarily closed in wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Press release from the society said ARV medicines will be available in the Office of Social Awareness Service Organization SASO at Lumfeld Supermarket. Kakching District United Clubs organization has appealed to authorities of hospitals, including primary hospitals in Kakching District, to continue providing treatment facility to the public despite the pandemic. Manipur has extended total lockdown and curfew for another week from today until August 6th in a bid to contain the spread of coronavirus. Roads in Imphal city bore a deserted look as people response to the lockdown. Vehicular traffic on the road was nilled and only few vehicles were seen plying on the street for emergencies and essential services. Shops in Imphal city remain closed except for medical stores and pharmacies. However, MSPDCL's prepaid recharge booth at Kaisampad was opened for public conveniences. State police has beefed up precautionary measures in every district of Manipur, including the Imphal city area. Police patrol units are being stationed at strategic locations in the city to keep a strict vigilance to prevent any untoward incidents. It may be mentioned that the state government had to extend the 7th-day total lockdown and curfew imposed in the state since 23rd of July afternoon, which ended yesterday due to a recent spike in coronavirus infections among those who have no travel history. Lumding Education Welfare Association has demanded the government to provide sufficient face masks, hand sanitizers and food items to people living in containment zones of Thoubal districts. Churachandpur district is also under total lockdown with the rest of the state to curb a further spread of coronavirus. District administration Churachandpur has so far declared containment zones in 5 areas, including subsidiary training center attached to BSF in the wake of a rising number of coronavirus cases in the district. So far, 64 BSF personnel have been tested COVID-19 positive in the district since 5th of July, including one head constable. BSF camp in the district has been declared as containment zone. Man entrance gate of the camp has been shielded by the police. Contact tracing has immediately followed up, which reveals that a person from the Advanced Diagnostic Center and a man who runs a pharmacy inside the district hospital have also tested COVID-19 positive. Police are taking strict actions against lockdown violators. Anybody found without face masks and those who spit in public places are being detained and issued fines by the police. Social Environment Development Organization SEDO Singjamay Sapam Laikai has demanded the government to stop issuing inaligned permits to outsiders amid the coronavirus pandemic. Insects are attacking paddies at the Poiropad in Andhra constituency amid the coronavirus pandemic. Farmers are distressed as they might not be able to harvest proper amount of rice this year. Speaking to media, General Secretary of Poiropad Farmer Development Cooperative Society, Kulem Tomcho, said that rice production from the fields in the Poiropad was only 10% last year due to scanty rainfall. He expressed disappointment that cultivation is being hampered despite timely monsoon this year, as they could not buy fertilizers and insecticides required for cultivation on time due to the pandemic lockdown. Tomcho appeals to the relevant authorities to take necessary measures to ease their plights. He also appeals to the IFCD to take stock of the existing irrigation system in the area.
सरकार की माइकेदा फार्मर नोलुक ना हाइजरी टिलेदा योलिबा दुकान सिंजे अमुक्तंग थोंग हांगन बियु माना थोंग हांगद्रगदी अखोइना लौ उबगी कानाबदो अखोइगी लेइत्रे यारगदी फार्मर मयामजिना टिलेदा लौबा चटपदा शटडाउन तौरिबनी हाइदना अखोइगी फोर्स की कांगु सिंगनाजु मोजे लौमी वरमाने अदुना मोजे अखोइ मयामगिनी कोना खल्लगा असी मतंग कोमथोक पिनाबा हाइना फार्मर की साइडगी नोलुकपगा लोइना हाइजरी परोपाट मनुंगदगी इसिंग थोलेबा जगासी IFCD department amuktan miyeng changbiraga hariba drainage se amuktan sengtokpiraga akhoi government ki side ta farmer na hanna nolukseri.
State Chief Secretary Dr. J. Suresh Babu retired from his post today. In the wake of the situation, 5 students organizations, namely Old Tribal Students Union Manipur, Atsumd, Kuki Students Organization KSO, Old Naga Students Association Manipur, Ansumd, Democratic Students Alliance of Manipur, Desarmed, and Apunba Ireipak Iraipaki, Mahiroi, Shingpang Loop Ems have urged the state government to assign a native of the Manipur as the state's new chief secretary. The students' body have demanded the government to assign the new chief secretary only in accordance with the memorandum of understanding it has signed with them on the 9th of June of 2018. Speaking to media earlier today, the Assam President and Adjunct and Adjunct General Secretary Saiboy Haukipt warned that the students' organization will launch intense agitation if an outsider is ever chosen as the new Chief Secretary of Manipur.
2018 da inakiba madugi MOU si thugairaga native ki nataba mapan lamdi IS Chief Secretary ki nong khang ni ba masigi post da ha khragadra ha bagi jingnaba ma tongan tongan ba student organization sing da phause
non native sing IS officers sing so deputation chalaga lam mapan atopada sahi tara mga manungay na leithuoga huji Chief Secretary ki post vacant oina leirani hai mo matam sida halaga kadai no dagi lobby to silaga Chief Secretary ki post ki damak tawre isi sidi ko ya pam thoi aduga sarkar na kari gumba ko ki memorandum of understanding soi to narami ba si regard to na chachi bata di student organization sing na tulina leiroi kan ba khongjang changsin gani
Democratic Students Alliance of Manipur, Assam has urged the state government to implement the new National Education Policy 2020 at the earliest. Speaking to media, Assam Secretary General Laisangthem Lamyanba on behalf of Assam's expressed gratitude to Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led Union Cabinet for approving the much-delayed National Education Policy 2020. He highlighted the key points of the new policy, which includes a medium of instructions until at least Class 5 and preferably till Class 8 in home language or mother tongue, opening of academic credit bank, introductions of vocational courses, 4 years of integrated BA, BSc, BCom and BEd degree courses, etc. He appealed to the government to implement the policy at the earliest and offers necessary help.
India की ओइना अपुनबा GDP की साद 6% दी education sector की public investment न थादगनी हाइबसिनी मरम अदुना मणिपुर की higher education दसु हेना अहिनबा budget सिंग काइथबिदुना public investment दसु हेना अहिनबा सेनफम काइथबिदुना हाइबसिंग असे थबक तो ओंथोकनबा होनबिउ लोइना दसाम न ममांग दसु तांद्र लाखिबा डिमांड कयामरुम मिना adopt तोखिबा policy असि दसु यावरबनिना हाइबा policy असे थबक ओइना पाइखत पिननबगी दमकता मणिपुर लेंगांग दसु हेना अखनबा थौसिल थौरांग सिंग implementation taunanabagi damakta thorang kayamarum ka paikhalakani haina soikoina khanjai maram aduna hariba policy ase masi implement taunanabagi damakta paikhat pirakpa thabak thoram sing dasu desamna lengang asigi mafam da amadi hiram khudimakta su mateng paunanabagi damakta sem sadru leijari.
Workers Union Manipur WUM has welcomed the new education policy 2020, which makes vocational education compulsory from class 6 onwards. Press release from the union urges the state government to implement the policy at the earliest. Chemistry subject lecturer of Churachan Higher Secondary School, who is also in charge of the school's Atal Tinkering Lab, Kangabam Hirojit Singh has been selected as Regional Teacher of Change 2020 by Atal Innovation Mission AI and Niti Aayog Government of India. He was chosen for the post of his innovative and significant contribution in molding young minds. It's time for a small commercial break. After the break, we bring you updates on coronavirus cases. We will be back with details after the break. Until then, keep watching Impact News.
Office of the Manipur State AIDS Control Society, Imphal, Manipur notice. It is hereby informed to all concerned that due to the present situation of the COVID-19, the ART center at RIMS Hospital is closed. For the convenience of our ART patients, MAGs have arranged to dispense ARV drugs by our ART staff of RIMS from the office premises of Social Awareness Service Organization, SASO, Imphal West Drop-In Center, address Lamphel Supermarket adjacent to Shankar Talkies, Imphal West 795001, Manipur. Accordingly, all the patients of ART Center RIMS are requested to take the ARV drugs from the above address from 3rd of August 2020 onwards until the situation improves. Notified by Haubam Rosita, Project Director, Manipur State AIDS Control Society.
Khanganjaba COVID-19 ki hauzik oiba fivam asi yengzaraga Ras Medi City ki OPD makhataba notice ama thoktirba fawwa thingzinjare hospital asigi emergency service kaktamak chathajagani hairiba asisu telephone da hana appointment lobigadabani appointment ki damak 9366324204 da contact tawbiyu Khanganjariba Ras Medi City Imphal Northeast India की आहान बोइना IGS Infra Solutions Private Limited na Manipur International Airport की VIP Loss Manipur State Rural Livelihood Mission Imphal East Kairau Bitra Tanix Tata Motors ta amuk kapthokpada tha ahum ngakthokpa ngamba COVID code ki pambai pijakre aduda sunatana tha mari thingsiluraba maming leiraba Jaipur Club amadi UP की State Road Transport Corporation की bus station ani da su kapthoktuna amuk hanna hangdok hankiba leikre akupa marol ki damak IGS Infra Solutions MM Manson Naurem Thong contact number 9862104214
Banthoibi Group of Companies presents Banthoibi Housing Finance Company Limited, regulated by National Housing Bank, wholly owned by Reserve Bank of India, provides subsidized home loan under PMAY-CLS Housing for All by 2022 mission. Banthoibi Microfin deals with microfinance activities only. Banthoibi Nidhi Limited provides loan against fixed deposit, loan against property, etc. Banthoibi Constructions Private Limited facilities. Booking started for real estate residential projects of flats, villas or row houses, etc. For more details, kindly contact Banthoibi Housing Finance Company Limited and its subsidiary group of companies, Uripok Taurangam Leitlai, Imphal.
Ichabu mahitam hanba haibasi mama mapasingna machada piba ngamba khwaidigi chabu khudoni. Slopland Public School, biggest and the finest residential school, Manipur gi oina lemjaningai oiraba, mahitampham ama oiriba, khwaidigi junaraba maphamda semgatlaba, CBSE the affiliate toba higher secondary school oiri. Ichasingbu admission tawiduna mama mapasingna machada piba ngamba khwaidigi chabu khudol oibiu, ichagi phazabalam chat sajati ahombadu ubiu, Slopland Public School Khongjom.
Andro AC की सोशल वर्कर ओइबग लोइनना AC असगी कांग्रेस लुचिंगबा ओइबत नतना यूनाइटेड एनजीओस फोरम मणिपुर की चेयरमैन ओइरिबा कैशाम निंगथेम जाउना अंद्रो AC की मियाम की थबक थौरम कयादा मतेंग पांगबिबा स्प्रूटी स्कीम की मखादा अहानबा इंस्टॉलमेंट ओइना लुपा लिसिंग यांखै पीबिबा लोइनना कोविड-19 न मरम ओइरगा लॉकडाउन लैरिङै मनुंगदा युमदा लैना लैना सेंदान लंबी पीबिबगिदमक कैशाम निंगथेम जाउबु ताइबंग मपुना याइफबा माइपाकपा ओहेन बिष्णु हाइना हाइजरिबा इंगा लैमतो कुथबि नुपिलो
Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Primetime English News. India has reported a single-day biggest spike of 55,078 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. That toll has reached 35,747. As per the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, country's total confirmed cases have crossed 16 lakh, out of which above 5 lakh are active cases. Total recoveries from COVID-19 surpassed 10.5 lakh mark. In the past 24 hours, the highest number of 37,223 recoveries have been reported in the country. With this, country's recovery rate stands at 64.54%, and COVID-19 mortality rate has further declined to 2.18% in the country. Maharashtra has the highest number of active cases of nearly 1,48,000. Meanwhile, the Indian Council of Medical Research said that 6,42,588 tests were conducted by various laboratories in the last 24 hours. Globally, coronavirus has infected above 1,75 lakh people and more than 6,77,000 people have died. Recoveries are above 1,9 lakh. USA is on top with more than 21,94,000 active cases, and Brazil is at second place with more than 6,98,000 active cases of COVID-19. India is at third place in the world. Total active cases of COVID-19 in the northeast states, including Manipur, have crossed 14,500 mark in the last 24 hours. Assam's total confirmed COVID-19 cases have crossed 38,000 mark, out of which 9,230 are active cases. Arunachal Pradesh confirmed COVID-19 cases have reached 1,484, out of which 654 are active cases. Nagaland's confirmed cases have reached 1,561, out of which 936 are active cases. Nagaland's Chief Minister's nephew Rio has quarantined himself at his home after a few staffs of his residential complex have tested positive for the coronavirus infection on Thursday. The state has imposed a total lockdown until August 31st. Tripura's total confirmed COVID-19 cases have reached 4,734, out of which 1,723 are active cases. There are 174 active cases of COVID-19 in Mizoram, 395 in Sikkim, and 588 in Meghalaya. A 56-year-old man has been accused of sexually assaulting a minor girl in Churachandpur district. Impact News sources said that incident occurred around 4 p.m. yesterday. The accused is Lang Shuang Tang Ngaiguk, son of Luaizat Hang from Churachandpur district. Acting on the written complaint filed by the victim's father, a combined team of Churachandpur police stations, including women police, has arrested the accused from his residence. Police has filed an FIR against the accused under the POCSO Act 2012. Youth Forum for Protection of Human Rights has urged the state government to terminate any existing memorandum of understanding with mining companies from outside the state for extraction of minerals such as chromite, limestone found in Ukrul, Kamjong, Tamenglong and Chandel districts. The forum said Manipur will become a barren land if the Indian Bureau of Mines IBM keeps extracting minerals resources of the state. It appeals to the government to consult its citizens before initiating any new projects. Irandam Kanba Apunbalub has condemned the alleged involvement of politicians in major drug cases in the state. Press release from the association demands state government, who has proclaimed war on drugs, to hand over Lukosai Joe's drug trafficking case to the CVI at the earliest. It also condemned all attempt to malign a designated officer who carried out her duties against drugs lawfully. Ningol Club Hairog has condemned that free rice under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana are being provided only to those enlisted in the voters list in Hairog constituency. Information and Publicity Secretary of the club, Shushma Ningthaujam, has condemned the government for failing to ensure the benefit of the free 5 kg of rice under the scheme to everyone equally. She demanded clarification of the same at the earliest.
PMGKAY gi Hairog Kendra Cheng Yenba Asida, Voter Chanbakak Cheng Pibiraga, Chandabagai Cheng Pibidre, Voter Chandiba, card holder Shingi, Chara Hello Hariba, Machine Ningon Clubna, Tarana Lobangamdo. Amanda Napiraga, Handakna Karimarangi, Voter Chandabagai Cheng Pibidre, Hadasi, Marina Nevasina, Miankana, Sindopio, Maram Charagadi, Hoshu Yajage, Adunatana, Miangi Chakao, Lutoba, Oram Lagadi, Asigumba Miangi Chakao, Lutoibasing, Asigi Matakta. Mari Lenagasina, Amadi Paliba Lenga Asina, Akanda Mieng, Sangbidana, Exhalokabi Bagaloina, and Yoga Jarak Bibu.
Manipuri diasporas in Assam have staged a protest demonstration under the banner of All Assam Manipuri Students Unions AAMSU at various places, demanding to enlist Manipuri as an associate official language of Assam. Protesters held various placards expressing their demands. Governor Dr. Najma Hamdullah has sent greeting to people of Manipur, especially the Muslim community, on the occasions of Eid-ul-Juha 2020. In a greeting, the governor said Eid-ul-Juha, meaning festival of sacrifice, signifies the spirit of sacrifice rising above the narrow barriers of one's ego and self-interest for the good of all. She said the festival promotes tolerance, harmony and goodwill amongst different communities. Governor Dr. Najma Hamdullah urges people to forget differences and usher in an era of peace and harmony in Manipur. Chief Minister Nongthombam Biren has also extended heartiest greeting to the people of the state, especially the Muslim community, on the occasions of Eid-ul-Juha 2020. The Chief Minister said that Eid-ul-Juha, the festival of sacrifice, is celebrated with traditional fervor and gaiety in India and the world. He said the festival commemorates the ancient story of a great faith and sacrifice made by Prophet Abraham in the form of his son Ismail to God. He wished that the festival strengthened cordial ties among communities in the state. Chief Minister Biren also urged the public to take maximum precautions in wake of the COVID-19 situation in the state. IPR Works Minister T.H. Vishwarjit has also extended heartiest greeting to the people of the state, especially the Muslims brethren, on the auspicious occasions of Eid-ul-Juha festival. The minister wished that the festivals usher in peace, amity and brotherhood amongst communities of the state. He appeals to abide by the government's COVID-19 SOPs while celebrating the festival. Manipur Pradesh Congress Committee President M. Okendro also sent greetings to people of the state, especially the Muslim community, on the occasions of Eid-ul-Juha 2020. Maipak Ningtho Committee Manipur MNCM also greeted people of the state, especially the Muslims brethren, on the auspicious occasion of Eid-ul-Juha 2020. Co-convener of the committee S.K. Wajid Saha appealed to avoid mass gatherings in the wake of the COVID-19 situation in Manipur. United Meitei Pangal Muslim Organization UMPO Manipur and Pangal Students Organization PSO also extended greeting on the occasions of Eid-ul-Juha. The organizations appealed to the public to abide by COVID-19 SOPs issued by the government while celebrating the festival. Meitei Pangal E. Khongul-Liba Foundation Committee Hyang Thang Tarahai Konjild also sent Eid-ul-Juha greetings. Two-day International E-Conference on the Trends, Issues and Development of Physical Education and Sports ends today. Department of Physical Education and Sports Science Fit India Campaign Committee and Fit India Club Manipur University in collaboration with National Association of Physical Education and Sports Science NAPESS India organized the event at Manipur University in Kanchipur. Around 650 participants, including academicians, scientists, researchers and research scholars from India and abroad, shared their expertise in the field of physical education and sports at the International E-Conference. Well, that is all we have in this bulletin, but before we wind up, let's take a glimpse at the headlines once again. Chief Minister Nongthombam Biren leads people in paying homage to Assam rifle soldiers martyred in a militant ambush at the Khongtal village in Chandel district. "38-year-old COVID-19 positive man from the Lilong Punau died at Janin this morning." COVID-19 death toll rises to 5 in Manipur. "40 different civil society organizations of Manipur comes together as People Task Force for COVID-19 to fight coronavirus pandemic." And India reports biggest single-day spike of 55,078 new COVID-19 cases in last 24 hours. Death toll reaches 35,747. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Coming up next is prime-timed Manipuri news. In the meantime, for more news and information, please do not hesitate to follow Impact TV on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Until then, have a great weekend and stay